So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our video of Mercury in the 8th house of your Dashamsha chart. As in what happens when Mercury, Buddha, is in the 8th house of D10 Dashamsha, which is one of the most important charts in Vedic astrology related to your obligation to society, your work, your career, all the things that you do outside in the world. How are they manifesting? That's what the Dashamsha chart is. And this is actually one of the most important placements of Mercury ever. And as always, if you do not know if you have this particular position, what sign it's in, what other astrological details you have in your birth chart, everywhere else. For that, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, consultations, and link to my academy, Magha Vedic Astrology Academy, where you'll find my course now fully available, Chara Dasha course, along with Nakshatra course, along with whatever course is out there. More coming soon. So anyway, Mercury in the 8th house in the Dashamsha. So with Mercury in the 8th house of your Dashamsha, this is one of the luckiest positions you can have of Mercury. Because even according to Sri Shaddi Iyer, the book that he has written, I think it's called Advanced Techniques of Astrology, or it's something with techniques. And in there he clearly stated out, and even my teacher Mark Boney showed many examples of Mercury in the 8th house giving excellent results. It seemed to give great results. So what Mercury shows here is that a person will get a sudden surprise. When you go through a Mahadasha or Antradasha in Vimshotri cycle of Mercury, you will see that there will be sudden promotions, sudden gain of wealth, bonuses come into play. And Mercury, which represents obviously our curiosity of our mind. See, mind is Mercury, a moon. The curiosity of the mind is Mercury. Here, Mercury shows that a person does very well anywhere research is involved. Like even if somebody's a cop, meaning a police, they'll do half the job of a police and half the job of a detective. They're curious about what is hidden. What is it that is not discovered? What is it that is not presented? I want to look for that. So obviously this is a great position for scientists, detectives, astrologers, psychiatrists, psychologists, because such people always have the ability to dig deep into things, including people who mine things, mining gems, searching for gold, oil, petroleum. If you're in such industry, you will see your curiosity will be towards, okay, where else can we find this oil? Even though my job is not that, I'm curious to know that. This is what Mercury does. And because Mercury's aspect is on the 2nd house of wealth, okay, remember, the way you understand aspect is this. When Mercury is in Virgo, exalted, it looks at Pisces. When Mercury is in Pisces, it looks at Virgo. So one position is exalted, one position becomes the aspect towards the exalted position. Now, if you take that in any sign, Mercury naturally behaves very neutral to every sign. So this is why we see that Mercury is now curious towards going towards that path, traveling to that path of the aspect. The only other planet that does this is Moon. But Mercury, because Mercury is a significator of traveling along with Moon, because Mercury originally rules the 3rd house of travels. Mercury is curious to go towards that 2nd house of wealth. It uses his intelligence to know how things are going to work out here for me to attain that wealth. So very good positions for that. One thing we also see is it's subjective. It's not really good or bad. It can show that a person gets stuck into gossips of the office, politics of the office. One can sometimes become part of the scandals of the office, but again, this is the Mercury that always brings the person out. No matter what what politics are played, what schemes are there, they always tend to come out of it, unless, of course, there are heavier yogas, for a person to deal with the wrath of those things. But I'm talking about on a neutral level. On a neutral level, this is a position that will always bring a person out. This is also the great position for people who professionally do things like stock market, speculative gains. Because why? One day you make $1, the next day you can make $100,000. That eighth house surprise is there with Mercury. And Mercury, see, the reason why I figured out that Mercury is doing well in the eighth house, because eighth house is the original Scorpio. This is the birth zodiac sign of Shukra, Venus, Mercury's best friend. And this is why Shukra has said, when you come into the place where I was born, I will give you gifts. Yes, eighth house is also originally ruled by Mars and Ketu, but you got to look at the subtleties of things when you understand the deeper sense of astrology through nakshatra. This is why I said nakshatras are everything. Okay. This is because of the fact Venus lives in the underworld. Venus is a natural tantric guru, the lord of Scorpio, where it was born. It says Mercury and Saturn, actually both, but Mercury specifically, gets gifts and gets surprises. Surprises that you're like, oh, happy birthday. Like good surprises. That's what happens here. Okay. So anyway, guys, this was my analysis of Mercury in the 8th house of your Dashamsha chart in this beautiful view of my new balcony. And if you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss these type of videos. And if you want to know where your Mercury is placed along with all your astrological details, for that, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.